One of the biggest matches that is going to be taking place at the world's greatest Royal Rumble is a return match, a WrestleMania recall, as they used to call it back in the day. This match, of course, is going to be Triple H versus John Cena. This was the WrestleMania main event of WrestleMania 22. I believe it was supposed to be the WrestleMania main event of WrestleMania 23. But due to Triple H getting injured that year, he ended up being replaced by Shawn Michaels at the time. Both of those ended up being really good matches. I remember when I watched WrestleMania 22, I was sort of surprised because I couldn't really tell who the babyface was and who the heel. People have told me that Triple H played the heel in that match and was a heel on Monday Night Raw before, but I couldn't really catch that vibe. It wasn't just what I was catching. It sort of seemed like babyface versus babyface when I was watching it on the network a few years ago. These are two of the biggest names there is in wrestling, and to be able to get a match like this, even if it is on a network special, instead of being on a pay-per-view, I don't believe that it's going to have the sort of like instant classic sort of to it, because of the fact that I think this is a show that people are mostly going to forget about in the upcoming couple of years. I don't even know where they're going to stick this on the network. I know like the Beast from the East show, if you want to go watch it, you have to go watch it under network specials. It's not listed as a pay-per-view over there, so I don't see this being added to the listings of Royal Rumble pay-per-views, like when you go into the vault and you go check out all those old shows. I think it's going to be one that you sort of have to look for to be able to find. There is no real storyline that I think goes along with this match, other than just playing off the history that these are two of the biggest names in WWE, and they haven't had a match in forever. I'm sure that Triple H is going to be wanting to say that he's trying to stake his claim as being the biggest name that is involved in wrestling, even though we only get to see him wrestle 2-3 times a year. He does fill in on shows when there is injuries. I know that he wrestled a house show match, I think, against Rusev in Chile last year, and I remember when I think it was Ambrose got injured, he ended up going over, and I think he played a part in the Shield, teaming up with Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins. It didn't really make sense when you thought about it, because the last time we saw Roman Reigns and Triple H together, it was around WrestleMania 32, and he was trying to kill the guy. And now here he is, just joining his group out of the middle of nowhere. But that's the difference between a house show and television. And I think Triple H is such a lovable guy, because a lot of people look at him as if he is the savior of wrestling. A lot of people are just saying, like, we can ride this out, Vince McMahon's last days of running the company, and because of what's going on in NXT. I think a lot of people are thinking that this is going to be, really good in the future once Stephanie and Triple H actually get to share their vision of what they think Monday Night Raw and SmackDown is going to be. I know that for a while Vince wasn't going to SmackDown and Triple H was running it, and it was a really, really good show, and I don't know what happened for him to take a step back from that. But I mean, have you ever seen a bad NXT takeover? He knows how to build a show. He knows how to use his talent. I think that he's involved in storylines, but I don't think he's involved in writing the shows. And he has a really, really small group of writers. I think he only has one writer who writes the SmackDown shows. So I mean, that's one thing to look forward to. Every year I call into the Figure 4 prediction show, and that's my prediction for every year, is that the writing staff for WWE will get cut in half, and they'll have less writers trying to go back to basics and not make everything so hard for them to put on a show each and every week. So I'm looking forward to this one. I honestly don't think I care whether if it goes either way, but because this show is in Saudi Arabia, because of the fact that John Cena is a worldwide superstar, I'm pretty sure that Triple H is going to take the L here. John Cena will get the win. You know, it's sort of like the Hogan must pose kind of thing, and you know, just be the baby face. Goes over, and everybody goes home happy from there.